So this is now homework 21 part 2, and I'm looking at problem number 5. I wrote out how to do number 4, so I'll do a video on 5. So one important thing to know is, like, how do we name the sides of the triangle? So angle C is always the right angle. That is always the right angle. So C is here. That's just a convention that we use. Now, angle B is 28 degrees. Well, that's a small angle. It's less than 45. So it's going to be this angle down here. I can just tell because it's a small number. If this was like 57, I would put it up here. But since it's 28, I can see it's less than a 45-degree angle. So I'm going to put it down there. So I have my angle B is right here. And that one's 28 degrees. Then the other angle has to be angle A. So angle A has to be this one up here. So that's one thing, is getting where are the angles, A, B, and C. So notice also we use capital letters for angles, lowercase letters for sides. So the next convention that's important to know is that the side across from the angle gets the same letter. So if this is angle A, this is side A. If this is angle B, this is side B. And if this is angle C, this is side C. So one thing that happens is, because angle C is always the right angle, that means that side C is always going to be the hypotenuse. Right? So we now know that this side up here, side C, this is the hypotenuse. Well, we probably knew that already. And we can do things from there. So one thing we're going to figure out is, since angle B is 28 degrees, and angle C is a right angle, so that means angle C is 90 degrees. Yeah, and then let's find out angle A. So what I know is that the three angles have to add up to be 180 degrees, right? So 28 plus 90, let's go ahead and mark that 90. 28 plus 90 plus whatever this is adds up to 180. So the way we write that, 28 plus 90 plus let's call that x, like I did in my example, plus x equals 180. All right, and there are shortcuts for this that you might be able to figure out. So here's 118 plus x equals 180. So I solve that by subtracting 118 from both sides, minus 118, minus 118, and I do 180 minus 118 is, 62, right? So x equals 62. So now I know that angle A is 62 degrees. So I'm going to write that up here. Angle A is 62 degrees. All right, so now I've got all the angles. Now I need to find the missing sides. So if you look at what they gave you, they told you that small a equals 6. So that goes down here. Now we need to find the other sides. So we can either find the hypotenuse next, or find the opposite next. That's up to us. But and you could also, by the way, either work with a 62-degree angle, or you could work with the 28-degree angle. So what I'm going to do is stick with the 28-degree angle, and let's find this side over here, which is the opposite. So you have actually lots of different options for that. So what I'm going to do is say that, let's see, the side I know is the adjacent. Maybe I need to label that. That's why I was stalling out there for a second. So this is the adjacent side over here. Adjacent to the 28 degrees. It's opposite to the 62 degrees. So I have the adjacent side, and I'm looking to find the opposite side. So what has adjacent and opposite? The tangent. So remember, you also have this one, cotangent, is adjacent and opposite, but we're not going to use this side over here. We're only going to use this side where we have tangent, opposite, and adjacent. All right, so we're going to write tangent theta equals opposite over adjacent. Then we're going to say the theta is 28 degrees, so tangent of 28 degrees equals my opposite side, which is unknown, so I'm going to call it B because I don't know what it is, over the adjacent side, which is 6. All right. So now I get my nifty calculator, and of course you can use your phone calculator we talked about before. Here's a calculator I'm going to use. I'm going to get out of this graphing mode, and I'm going to make sure we're in degrees, because I don't always use this in degrees. So we go to mode. Let's Just be a minute here. I want to make sure I have degrees right there. All right, of course you won't have to do that because you're using your phone, which is default in degrees. All right, so, or you might have a calculator. If you have a calculator, you have to check to make sure it's in degrees. So I want to know what tangent of 28 degrees is, and that is 0.5317. We'll keep 4 decimals whenever we're using a trig function. So 0.5317 equals b over 6. Now, when I have a number in the denominator, I'm just going to multiply both sides by that number. If I had a variable in the denominator, then I would take these two and switch them and then divide. All right, maybe we'll see an example of that later. So now I'm going to go this number 0.5317, so I can just leave it in my calculator and just go like this, times 6. And I get 3.1903. We'll just keep 4 decimals underneath everything for this. So I have 3.1903 equals b. Now I've already found one missing side. Now I want to find the other side. Pythagorean theorem, you've done it many times. We're just going to do a squared plus b squared equals c squared. You have to pay attention to which sides you have, because if you do different triangles, they could come out different ways. I happen to know A is 6, and I know B is 3.1903. By the way, why don't I write that up in the answer area up here? 3.1903, that's your B. All right, so now I'm going to put that into the equation down here. So I have my A is 6, it says it right there. So I'm going to go 6 squared plus my B I just figured out was 3.1903. So 3.1903 squared equals c squared. All right, so I'll just work this out just one step in the calculator. We're doing 6 squared plus 3.1903 squared, and I get 46.178. So 46.178 and 46.178 equals c squared, and then I need square root of both sides, square root of this side, square root of this side. So I can just go square root of that number. You can type it in again. There are ways in different calculators you can, I can do square root of, for example, just you click answer, and that will tell me that it's 6.795. All right, so let's put our, I guess we'll just stick with 4 decimal places. 6.7954, 6.7954 equals C, and then I can put that up here, 6.7954, and now I've got all the A, B, and C. I've got all the angles and all the sides. So that's what you can do with a triangle with trigonometry. If you start out with just one angle and one side, I can get all the angles and all the sides. It's actually pretty impressive. All right, so that's the conclusion of how you do homework 21. Enjoy finishing the rest of it.